Yo music people, what's going on? Thanks for coming back to another episode of Audio, where we explore the depths of music technology. And today I'm going to be showing you guys how to contribute your audio code to open source music projects. And one of the projects that's my favorite out there is AudioKit. There's a lot of amazing apps out there that are made with this tool. And what not better to do than contribute some code to it. That's what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do in this video. If you're new around here, make sure you ring that bell and turn on those notifications so you can stay tuned for my latest videos.
So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to System Preferences and make sure your system is up to date. That's going to be very important for this video. And next thing we're going to do is go to the App Store and download an application called Xcode, which is what we're going to be using to code. And this right here is the framework that I'm going to be contributing to today. So this is AudioKit, amazing framework that can do a lot of great things. And I usually like to look at the issues and see if there's anything I can help with. So let's go ahead and dig into this.
So audio debugging is one of the hardest parts about solving these issues, but I will make a separate video of that. If you want to see it, let me know in the comments below. But anyway, here's the code really shortly of what I have here from the issue that the user mentioned. So what we're going to do is first we're going to test Apple's audio engine without AudioKit intervening. So let's just go ahead and run that, and we should expect it to sound like we're on a phone call. Hello? Testing? Oh, got some feedback there, but it appears to be working. Alright, so now if we change this so we use AudioKit, then it's going to break this thing, so we basically won't hear any more audio. Hello? Test? See, the app is running, but there's no audio. That's what we want to fix. So to sum up the issue, what was happening was that the input device, so pretty much your microphone on your phone, the sample rate of that device was different than the mixer that AudioKit uses to put all the audio together. And because of that, the audio wasn't being let through. So to fix that, all I'm going to do is add this line of code here. Let's try running this now and see if this code fixes it. Gotta unlock my iPhone quick. There we go. Test. Hey, it's working now. You can hear it. All right.
Next thing we're going to do is fork this repository. So that's going to make a fork of the repository on our own GitHub page. And what's cool about that is we can add our own code to this now based off the old repository. And they're completely different repositories now, but also based on the same original code. And that's something we'll get to later. But for now, I like to download this tool called GitHub Desktop. It's very useful in that it makes things a little bit easier. Next thing we're going to do is open up GitHub Desktop, and we're going to create a clone of the fork we just made. So that's going to make a copy of this repository on our machine so we can contribute to it on our machine and then push our changes to the fork we made. And then we can later push those changes, or rather make a pull request, which is something we'll talk about. But another thing you want to check is make sure you know which branch that this repository usually takes pull requests to. And I know for AudioKit it's the develop branch, so we want to check out that branch just like that. And I usually like to make a backup as well that I'm going to mess with. So if you go back to your repository on GitHub, you want to make sure to enable the workflow on your fork. This will allow you to test your code once you submit it. So if we go back to the actual repository on my machine, I'm going to add in my code changes. So I'm going to go to the appropriate folder, or sometimes you can copy files in there that you changed. And in this case, it was just one line of code, so I'm just going to add that here. Perfect. Now, the magic is, if we go back to GitHub Desktop, we'll see that there are code changes. So you can see I added this line. And then I usually add a description of what the change was, and then I push it. and this will go to the fork, not the original repository. So keep that in mind. All right, so we can see there's changes here on my fork, and it's suggesting a pull request, but we'll do that later. But here you can see your commit history on your fork, so you can see all the changes that have been made, and you can also see the workflows. So the workflows will go ahead and run some tests and tell us if everything's working all right. You'll notice one of them fails here, and that is because there was this other commit in the original repository that added a failing test. So it's not something we did, luckily. Sometimes it will be, so you want to make sure and check that. But usually all the tests will succeed. So yeah, as we can see here, somebody added a test and that was failing. So it's not something we did, but just keep that in mind. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the pull requests. So this will compare branches. We want to make sure we select the develop branch, and that will show us the differences between our develop branch and the original repository's develop branch. Another cool thing you can do is in the description of your pull request, you can reference an issue that you're fixing. So all you have to do is tag the issue number, and that will reference that issue in your pull request. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and there we go. We've just submitted it. You'll notice there's this thing called Hound that basically checks your code and makes sure it looks clean. So let's say that you forgot a piece of code or something, or you wanted to add something else. Well, cool thing about GitHub is you can do that. And so any changes you make after you open the pull request, those commits will just be added to that pull request. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and add this line of code or change it, and I'm just going to make that as a separate commit to the fork. Okay, awesome. So if we go back to GitHub now, we should see in our pull request, we have that extra commit. And oh, look at that. It's the Hound telling us we need to make a change here. So it looks like a formatting issue. By the way, for these little formatting issues, there's this tool called SwiftLint. Not sure if it still works. I think it does. I just haven't been using it, but I definitely recommend it. Check it out in the link in the description below. But anyway, let's go ahead and push that formatting change. So you'll notice once we do that, it will show up as outdated right there, and that will eventually just disappear, so you don't need to resolve it. But it looks like we got another one, so we need to fix that one too. Wow, lots of formatting that we needed to be careful about, which is good that it has that thing to detect it. But anyway, let's go back and see if this one fixes it. And it looks like it does. So you can see here, once it evaluates it and says it's good, then you should be good to go. So one of the cool things about GitHub is just how insane the workflow is. You got all these options here where you can go to your fork, you can check the commits in your fork, see exactly what changes you made. You can also go back to the original repository, so the AudioKit, and you can also go back to the pull request, look at any file changes you made, look at all the commits you made, all the tests that it's running. So you got plenty of options here to make sure what you changed, everybody can see what you changed. And there's also people who can review your code as well and make sure all the changes are good. You can even see in this issue here that we referenced our own pull request, so they can see that you made that request. And yeah, all the tests are the same as well. You can run the test. So once your pull request is approved, this is what it will look like. It will show up in the closed requests. And yeah, there you can see the founder or owner of the repository merge my request. And yeah, you can go back to your own fork. Now, the one thing you'll notice here is that your fork will always be one commit behind the actual original repository. And the reason for that is because there's this merge commit here. So if you ever get a merge commit, it will always be one behind. So what you can do to merge that commit into your own repository is just press that button right there, and now you can see it's up to date. But we also, on our local machine, want to merge that commit that we just merged into that. So it's a little bit confusing, but there you can see I just synced them.
I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.